Hello everyone. Uh, Today we are going to talk about situation as of now. Last time we talked about that Crimea was annexed into Russia and by Russia, and there was a tension in Ukraine, and there was a talks about U.S. attacking Syria, sending Sixth Fleet and all that. That didn't happen, and Ukraine is also uh, right now relatively not that volatile. Luhansk and Donetsk, they have rebels there, but right now there is a ceasefire, and rightfully so, because that was a futile exercise of bloodshed. Russia didn't have intention of taking over Ukraine, and Russia was just seeing what is there for them. I didn't understand why it happened, why Ukraine was agitated like that. Crimea was annexed, that is understandable. There were Russians there, and they were related to relatives of some Russians in Russia, so they annexed it. And that started a conflict between US and Russia, because US is on the verge of going on a different track than its predecessors, its past rulers and past policy. It is changing, but still it is not leaving overnight the role of a superpower in the world, especially in Europe. So, what I'm trying to point out is that there was a useless exercise of inflicting, of agitating a conflict between two superpowers, which matters these days because a lot of astrologers are predicting for World War III, and that was avoided nicely. And there's no point in talking about that. There was a lot of bloodshed in Ukraine. Right now, NATO forces and American forces are in Poland and other surrounding nations, as we heard on the news. But that is okay if you're not going to fight with Russia, US. Then still you should keep some reserve forces in Europe for some future conflict that may occur because of Muslim forces like ISIS that has emerged. I'm going to talk about ISIS at length. Beheading. Beheading. Okay. So that I predicted and it happened. You should see my Condoling Woolwich. This is Condoling Iraq and Syria. Let's talk about the real problem. ISIS emerged because of finding some rebel forces in Syria against Bashar al-Assad's regime, and ISIL became ISIS. Now, that has to be proved in history why ISIS came into existence and how. But it came into existence and threatened all our existence. In fact, ISIS is more dangerous than Al Qaeda. There are some debate in that matter. ISIS is working just in Middle East, I guess. I observed that ISIS is gonna work only in Middle East, and probably they will go to Rome as they have predicted. They have announced they will go to Europe. But I don't think ISIS is a threat, direct threat to USA or to the world. Probably it can come to the right side, to India, to threaten anti-Muslim regimes here. And but otherwise, ISIS is going to die down now. I've seen ISIS's massacres. I couldn't record anything at that time. I I totally condemn that. Always condemn. Lambas. I thought uh, I loathe that activity of Islamic terrorism. So Bashar al-Assad still stays there and is asking for help from Israel, from Israel to save Damascus and some refugees in refugee camps in Yarmouk, as I read in News 360. Nice app for news collections, news items at one place. So Bashar al-Assad still stays there. There was a point in creating ISIS like that. I didn't understand that. But Iraqi Kurds fought nicely, fought bravely, and they almost annihilated them all. But they are coming again and again from Yemen, from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, from India, even India. They are coming there. They are all commissioned bhade ka tattu, that is commissioned crooks of bought crooks, paid crooks they are. They are not serious about Islamic jihad or anything. They are just paid crooks. And they massacred badly. They put price tags on children and women. They tied women with ropes. They beheaded vastly. They beheaded very much. And in fact, the jihadi John became so famous cult figure of these people that, and they are Daesh as well. They are not that Islamic. So they are more onto devil worshipping and all that. But I think ISIS is over now. We shouldn't elongate the conversation of today on ISIS that much. ISIS is over. Airstrikes were done at the right time by all countries. In fact, USA did remarkably well there in protecting Iraq and later on Syria too. So northern Syria, northern Iraq. My suggestion is make northern Syria and northern Iraq one Kurdistan for Kurds. That will be better. But they should be guarded by forces, UN forces, NATO forces, and probably America should remain in the region. But they have threats from Islamic groups of some kind of inborn internal attack or all that. So they shouldn't indulge into Muslim politics, Shia Sunni politics, and Middle East politics that much. They should work on their economy, they should work on their medical facilities, they should work on their employment, unemployment issue, instead of getting messed up in or screwing up the Middle East politics. Everyone is criticizing Obama policy. In fact, now it has become a butt of joke that he's being compared with Lubis, with Mr. Lubis, the range pilot. I was talking about indulging in Middle East politics, going away from Israel taking side of Palestine is good thing. But going away from Israel that much, so much so that you start giving nuclear bomb to Iran. And a nuclear bomb to Iran will be given sooner or later. You cannot stop it. There is so much of centrifugal infrastructure there. There are at least more than 1,000 centrifuges there and facilities there, and they can make a new N bomb. Who can stop them? In their agreement we haven't seen agreement. There must be some clause like if you are surrounded by a non-Shia state or non-Shia army or non-Muslim army, you can create N bombs, nuclear bombs to protect yourself as a deterrent. That clause must be there in the nuclear policy, nuclear deal between Iran and US. Now, I don't understand why US deals with Iran and US authorize US authorizing nuclear bomb or nuclear facilities in any country. It should be UNO, not US between Iran. The deal should be between UN and Iran instead of US and Iran. Why US is doing it? How can US give another Muslim nation who's religiously inclined towards fanaticism, that is Iran, another Muslim nation near India, so near to India, Iran and Pakistan, both will be nuclear nations. China is already a nuclear power, superpower, and India will be just hand between all of these people. And there are Houthi rebels in Yemen, there are some kind of rebels in northern Syria, and there are obviously ISIS is there in northern Iraq and northern Syria. So many agitating, fighting class are there. I think Iran, this deal should be rejected by Congress. The American Senate can reject the deal and probably lift the sanctions from Iran so that Iran doesn't feel bad about it. Because Iran can make N bombs because they have centrifuges, they have facility, they just want a certificate from a big authority. That big authority is becoming the superpower USA. And because of that, USA will be in trouble later. Why you sanction us for so many years? Why you criticize us so many years? Iran is going to turn towards the new giver country. In fact, if US has any threat from anyone, that is from Iran instead of Russia, instead of Pakistan now. In Pakistan, there's nothing like Shia and Sunni fight. I observed that too. There's nothing like Shia and Sunni fighting each other. They are Muslims, they are together. I would say just that much. So, now coming to what I'm missing here. So Russia conflict was avoided nicely, and fingers are still crossed by the warmongers that something might happen, but that's not going to happen because it's going to be a tough war, and no one, even USA, doesn't want a tough war for themselves. If they have economic slowdown, they cannot engage in World War III so easily. And but conflict here, ISIS is also almost done. Boots on ground has happened. Now Israel is gonna get into Syria sooner or later, and it's gonna finish ISIS, and that's what it should be. And Houthi rebels were not with Al Qaeda that much. but you are compressing them into becoming a solidified one unit of Muslim terrorism or rebels or fighters. I think US at least should not compress Houthi rebels that much so that they join their opponents, their adversaries in the region, Yemen, Al Qaeda. Houthi shouldn't join Al Qaeda. Boko Haram join ISIS. That kind of thing shouldn't happen with Houthis. We should leave Yemen at once. We shouldn't indulge into that. Saudi Arabia and other local coalition, local solution is working there, as I said in my tweets. Local solution is working there. Local Arabian countries are fighting with everyone, all the rebels and fighters. They are protecting their own border. They can protect Yemen too. And if Yemen is taken up by Houthi rebels and America doesn't see such a suit in the president's attire, that is, president should look like a suited booted guy, only then America authorizes regime. Otherwise, Houthis are popular there, they will take over. Like Afghanistan, it happened. Afghanistan was a different ball game altogether. There were Talibans of Pakistan coming to Afghanistan, not local Mujahideens of Afghanistan. Houthis are local. I'm not a Houthi lawyer, for God's sake. They have too many AK-56 and that shouldn't dangle around on TV cameras. That's the main thing. And other than that, we should concentrate on anti-terror operations everywhere, because Africa is marred by terrorist attacks so much. Like Kenya, 2 times it happened in Kenya, and Nigeria, the girls were abducted. Al-Shabaab is more deadly than Boko Haram, it seems. Boko Haram killed some 5,000 in one day. That happened, and I couldn't condole that. I'm sorry about that. What can we say about it? So much of violence for no reason, no business, nothing. They cannot be bought. Can they not be bought? They should be bought. Instead of, they should be fought with. So currently Europe is safe and there's no world war conflict coming up. But Iran and Israel can spark off something, and it would be a real disaster seeing US standing shoulder to shoulder with Iran against Israel. that joke should come in any of the shows like Manish Channel or Jon Stewart or what is his name? Trevor Noah's show. You remain with one country for so long. You have Jews there. How can you turn suddenly around just because you have a middle name which is reminiscent of your religion? How can you do that? How can you do that? Iran should not be given nuclear bomb. That is the India's opinion. My India's opinion. Everyone is perplexed. with this, how this deal is coming up. So US Senate, we are keeping our fingers crossed for US Senate to go against President's policy and reject, cancel, quash, whatever it is, the nuclear deal with Iran. What nuclear they will do peacefully, what peaceful nuclear energy they can generate. There was gas there, gas pipeline was talked about and must be there. But what nuclear energy they can generate with nuclear facilities, they can only obtain a bomb and they can harass Saudi Arabia for oil capture, oil control, oil well control, and they can harass poor Iraq, who has come out of, who has just won Tigrit. Congratulations to them, just won Tigrit, and they can harass Israel, can harass all the Middle East. In fact, as Israel says, and I quote, that these Hezbollah and other terrorist groups, including ISIS, there's a doubt in their minds that Iran is sponsoring that. It has to be investigated. I'm not responsible for this comment. I unquote. So, I unquote earlier than that. So, and seemingly, if you take prima facie, just on face value, if you see Iran, Iran is not a good country to have a nuclear bomb. In fact, we were talking about denuking Pakistan. We were thinking of removing nuclear bombs from the reach of Waziristan, Baluchistan, and other Al Qaeda and other Al Nusra, other terrorist groups. Pakistan nukes are in the reach of theirs. They shouldn't have long-range missiles either. Pakistan has no threat from anyone. Pakistan has nurseries in POK. So we were talking about denuking Pakistan, denuking Germany as well. Germany is also poor and poverty-stricken, and the Western jihadis are also there. They can be, an underworld can be a problem in the world. It was the Aus underworld instead of Al-Qaeda that was active in India all these years, and we suffered because of them at their hands, at terrorists and criminal terrorists' hands. So underworld and terrorism go hand in hand, because after all it comes down to trafficking, drug trafficking, child trafficking, girl trafficking. Because of that, and that child trafficking is what? About 20 billion business per year. Nothing more than that. Drug trafficking is what? Drug trafficking is about 40 billion per year. It's not more than that. We have bigger businesses instead of that, but the corrupt regimes always promote such criminal activities, criminal businesses, instead of criminal and inhuman businesses. Trafficking, girl trafficking, child trafficking, come on. We are living in 2015 and we are going into medieval times. Price tag on children's ears, the label, and then Apple Pay. What we are doing here, what we are going to do in this 21st century. I'm exasperated, I'm accosted at even thinking of this. There was a chance of a conflict developing between Pakistan and India as well. Indian kids are in demand because of Tantra and all that. The fucking Tantra is the reason for worry for Indian kids. A lot of trafficking is going on already, as info is, and the statistics prove that how much trafficking is going on. And of course, cannibalism and all that is going on. Cannibalism, pedophilic exercises, inhuman pedophilic exercises are becoming a norm in Europe or America, Western world, or what is going on? It has become a norm. Nobody says a word about these bad sites on internet. They are still running. Exchanges of photos, exchanges of videos. What is going on? They are happy. It all sucks. It just sucks. If a world war, you have to fight. You fight for your principles, your social philosophy, social controls and laws and legal law and order, social ethos, social principles. They should not fall into LGBT's demands, over demanding LGBT's demands. I see clear connection between all this LGBT, gay marriage, and child sexual abuse. There is a clear-cut connection between both. Why nobody says about it? Why nobody says about it? Just because we all want to be called gay and cool in a party. Hey, hoo. Why should we say about children? What happens to children? If two guys marry and they adopt a guy, they adopt a boy, what happens to him? Why he's wearing a dangling here? They are stories like kids in the basement. So World War, if you want a World War, have World War for children instead of for child trade, and share of that. Let's see what happens in coming 2 or 3 months, and if I get time to record it, or internet doesn't go down before that, I will record my later happenings summary. So currently it's in control. Hopefully it will be happy Easter to all of you, and that is it. This is Manish Srivastav from India, and I'm into another summer. Let's see what happens. Bye there.